Okay, guys, so welcome to Empowered Elites Team Call, and we have Team Stronger Every Day joining us too. It is June 15th, and we have an awesome opportunity tonight. Because I don't want to waste any time, I just want to dive in and let Kathi and Nick speak. Does anybody have any recognition they want to shout out this week, or leadership ladder mentions they want to shout out?
It's not official till tomorrow, but I have to shout out Michelle Krause. She is officially Emerald.
Way to go, Michelle.
And I want to shout out Shannon. She will be Emerald tomorrow as well.
Awesome, and congratulations, Shannon.
Yay.
Does anybody else have recognition? If not, I have an exciting one. I have to give a huge shout out to Lauren Teague for being an official Diamond coach. She has come in on fire and just busted her booty the past couple months to make this happen, hit a couple roadblocks, kept going anyways. So she is officially a Diamond and also a team builder, which is huge. So congratulations, Lauren.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. So I want to give them all the time in the world. So I just want to quickly introduce Kathi. Kathi and I met for the first time really at the Success Club trip in in Cancun. And we had the opportunity to spend quite a bit of time together. And I actually was able to go to their house last fall when I went up to Massachusetts to visit and spend a little bit of time with their family. And they are just absolutely, sorry guys. They are absolutely the best partnership of any coach, team that I've ever seen. They work together like clockwork, and it's absolutely awesome. Kathi's team right now is ranked number 45 in the entire company. They were a 2015 elite team. She is a Success Club 10 All-Star legend. And she was a six-figure income earner in her first year as a coach, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So you are about to hear from the best of the best, and her hubby Nick is also going to be hopping on and talking about income placement cycles and really how to maximize your income growth as well. So take it away, guys.
All right. Well, thanks for having us here, guys. We're excited to be able to talk to you guys tonight. We're going to try to compress things as much as we can just because it's, a pretty big topic, but might be, a little bit more on like the 50-minute side. Hope that's all right with you guys. So anyways, glad to be here. And before I get started and kind of dive into things, I just wanted to say, how important it really is to make sure that you have the support from your spouse. And so, this teamwork that we have going on now, it definitely wasn't like this at the very beginning. When we first actually heard about coaching, Nick was the most skeptical person that you could ever imagine. He has his MBA in entrepreneurship. And so he was running, 4 or 5 businesses on the side at the time, as well as his full-time job that he had. So when he heard about this, he was like, this is the biggest scam going. You can't earn money. This is not a real business. You'd have just as much luck, going into a casino and gambling and winning. This is just going to be a waste of your time. So he started out like way on the opposite end of the spectrum on the skeptical side. And then I proved to him over time that this was real, and he was seeing my success and he was seeing my paychecks come in. And, for guys especially, they're all about like the figures and the income and how can you make this work? I really want to see the numbers side of things. So once I proved to him that, what I was doing was working and that you could actually earn an income, then he started to get on board. So it was probably, guys, at like my 6-month mark where, Nick got on board and he started like slowly taking over other things for me in the business. And so Nick is going to, talk about that when I hand it over to him. But just really important that you make sure that you sit down with your spouse and you talk to them about how important it is that this business works for the both of you as a family, as a team, and, try to get them as involved as possible and come up with an agreement about, when you're going to be working on this business. Because I found just from experience, especially with my team, that a lot of the coaches who struggle or who end up even quitting, it's because they don't have that communication with their spouse. They haven't actually sat down with their spouse and worked out something that's going to work with their family. Like, all right, I have my full-time job. We're going to come home. We're going to put the kids to bed. But then after that, I'm going to spend my power hour every night from 8 to 9. And then we can sit down and watch our show together or whatever it is. So I just can't stress how important it is, because there's no way that I would have moved as fast as I've moved and has been as successful as I am if I didn't have, Nick's support with me and have him in agreement with me with how much I was going to be working on this every day. All right. So if you guys don't know my story, I've been a coach now. I'm coming up actually on my 2-year mark on June. Yeah, in 10 days on June 25th. And it's pretty crazy, guys, how much our lives have changed since coaching. So I'm a stay-at-home mom right now. I have 2 little kids. Landon just turned 4. Kirsten's 2.5. Before becoming a stay-at-home mom, I was an elementary school teacher for almost 10 years, had my master's degree in special education, and always knew I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So when I had Landon, I stopped teaching. That's what I was going to do. That's what I always knew I was going to do. And we were both in agreement on that. So things were really tight, financially wise. And, he has a really good job, but still we knew that we were going to have a hard time. So he was doing all these other businesses. I was tutoring. I was also, 35 pounds heavier. We had completely depleted our entire savings account, racked up $35,000 of credit card debt. And we were literally going into the negatives by $1,000 every single month because we were living off of one income because I wanted to be home with the kids. And so it finally got to the point where it was so bad. Kirsten was 4 months old and Landon was 22 months old. And that's when Nick kind of sat me down and was like, you're going to have to go back to your teaching career. There's no way we can swing this anymore. We're doing everything in our power to make this work, and it's just not going to happen. So you can kind of imagine, how heartbreaking that was for me, considering I knew for the longest time I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I was not going to be doing anything else in the future once I had a family. Like, this was going to be it. And so I really believe that things come into your life at the right time and for a reason. And it was literally at that exact same time that coaching was brought up to me. And like I said, Nick was really skeptical at first. That's why I didn't sign up actually for 3 months, for my first 3 months, because we just didn't believe in it, and I kind of was like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. He has his MBA. I was just a first grade teacher. I'm just going to kind of listen to him. And so it got so bad that it was like, this is my last hurrah. This is my last chance to kind of make this work. And so right from the beginning, guys, I think the reason why I was able to take off so fast and build such a successful business was because I had a really powerful connection with my why and my purpose for doing this. And that is literally going to be the most important piece of your business, with whether or not you're going to really go the distance with this or you're going to fall off and quit and throw in the towel. And because my connection and my connection with my why was so powerful and so emotional, every night when I sat down to work, like right now, I was always thinking of my kids and always thinking about how, okay, well, it's either you sit down and you build a business and you stay home with your kids and you give it all you got, or you say, screw it, doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to leave them and go back to my teaching career, which that was not an option. So I had no plan B when I hopped into this, and I treated it like a business right from the beginning. I set business hours. I went all in with it. I, really listened to everything that my upline coaches were telling me to do. I saw people like Elizabeth Harkey and Keith Callahan having success, and I was watching how it totally changed their lives. And so when they said, all right, these are the things that you need to do to build a successful business, you got to be doing the 3 vital behaviors. You have to be hitting Success Club. You have to be building a team. You have to be inviting to the challenge groups and all this other stuff. I never questioned it. I just was like, all right, I need to get to where they are. And I sat down and I did it. So I want to kind of go over just what I think my top 5, non-negotiables are that helped me have such fast success in the business. And I'm going to kind of just weave them in while I talk to you guys for the next 15 minutes before I turn it over to Nick. So my first one is to be focused. And I'm going to go over these. So just be focused. I never wasted any time talking and having side conversations with people. I never spent all that time making fancy picture images with PicMonkey and Canva and all that stuff that you might see. I never spent any time doing like page trainings or reinventing the wheel. I just sat down focused and spent every waking moment, guys, talking to people. Because if there's one thing that's going to grow your business, guys, it's talking to people, period. Like the more people you talk to, the more relationships you build, the more people you invite, the faster you're going to grow, the more income you're going to see, and the more people you're going to help. So number 2 was to be disciplined. And so I think this is a really hard one for a lot of people because we're used to going into, a job and having somebody tell us what to do, having them tell us exactly what to do, when it's due by, and you just follow it. And with this business, like you are an entrepreneur. So every single one of you right now is running your own business, like your own business. It's your own business. And so whatever happens or doesn't happen, it always falls back on you. It doesn't matter who your coach is, doesn't matter what team you're on, you have to own your own business. So you can't spend all your time like wishing and wanting. You have to know that you are in full control and that this is your business and that you can take it in whatever direction you want it to go into. So be disciplined. The third one is having belief and having confidence. And so this was something that I definitely had, right from the beginning. I really did believe in this opportunity, like without a shadow of a doubt. When I saw all of the top coaches in the company or the other leaders in the company, or even, like Liz Harkey, for example, and Keith Callahan and Jason Diebold and all of them, and I saw how successful they were, I never, ever thought for a second that I couldn't do that as well. I never sat there and thought, oh, well, they're successful because they've been doing this for like 4 years, or, oh, they're successful because, they don't have any kids, or, oh, they're successful because of X, Y, and Z. Instead, I put like a positive spin on it, and I was like, this is so awesome. Like, this is so real. If they're doing this, then I can do this too. And that's where I'm going because that's where I need to be. I am making this happen. So put a positive spin on it, guys. Like when you see other people succeeding in this company, like know that you can do that too. So you need to make sure though that you have that confidence and that belief. And so that's why I always tell my team that if you're struggling with like confidence, or if you're struggling with belief, to definitely start off by reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, because that will really help you. You can be sitting down doing all the action steps in the world. You can be sitting down doing the 3 vital behaviors every single day. But if you don't have that confidence in yourself, if you really truly do not believe, then nothing is going to happen with this. Like, you need to have that piece, rock solid for this to take off for you and to go in the direction you want it to go into.
And just to interject on that too, guys, from a spouse perspective, that's huge. Seeing Kathi have a lot of confidence in where she was going with this and what she was doing with this made me feel confident in her and brought me on board, right? If she was sort of wishy-washy on that and she was kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work, I probably would have said things like, don't waste your time, like, try something else, like, why don't you just call it quits now before it's too late? Like, she was like, I'm doing this. And I was like, oh, okay. And even when I was like, are you sure? She was like, oh, yeah. And she can tell you, like, there were so many times where I would say to her something like, I don't know, Kathi. It can't be like this forever. And she's like, it's going to be, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm like, okay. So it really made me believe in her more because she knew where she was going with it. So, that helped. So anyway,
that does.
Go ahead.
No, that's good that you interject. That's what you should do. If you see something that kind of
I don't wanna
triggers
break
something,
your
just
flow.
hop in. No, this is good. I've done it so many times. It's like, all right, sorry guys, we're a little crazy over here, as you can see. All right, the next one, the fourth one, my fourth non-negotiable was to do the now 4 vital behaviors every single darn day. And this is really important because I honestly feel that the longer you stay in this, like I feel like when you're a brand new coach, it's like so much easier for people to just simplify things, like you sit down, it's like, all right, I'm just going to invite to this challenge group. I'm going to invite people about the business opportunity to this coach sneak peek or to the webinar. And like, that's all you do. And then as soon as people start to get a little bit bigger and become like, for example, a diamond coach on the team, people start to think that they need to start to do other things, all these other things. And all that stuff, guys, is just a waste of your time. And it's going to distract you from what really grows your business, which is the vital behaviors. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. It doesn't matter how big your team is. It doesn't matter how successful you are or what your rank is. You can never leave phase one of those vital behaviors. Like, you can never stop inviting people. And I'm just like speaking from experience here, you know, I went through like a 4 or 5 month lull. You know, I finally just got over it. It was a humongous slump I was in. And I found myself just doing like the bare bones minimum to hit Success Club 10. And I was hitting like Success Club 10 and Success Club 12. And I know that might sound amazing to you guys, but that's not how I am. Like, I go for it, like all in, you know, I shoot for much higher than that. But I was just basically doing the bare minimum to make that happen. And I took my foot kind of off the gas a little bit, you know? And it wasn't until this past month where I was like, all right, I need to get back into this. And I need to be doubling up, tripling up on my invites and doing what Kathi does and what Kathy's known for. And guys, I mean, I signed up like 6 people in 5 days because I've been buckling down on my inviting, and that's all I've been doing. And so I'm just trying to tell you that no matter where you are, you can never get away from that. You have to always stay in that phase.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just like that's something, I mean, for you guys who are diamond coaches or whatever, again, I'm coming at this from the outside because I'm not actively doing the inviting like Kathi is, but, you know, what she was doing was at night, right, and we'll get into more later, but, you know, my goal is to free up Kathy's time so she can focus on talking to people. But what happened was, for a whole period of time, she'd get here, and as the team was growing, she'd sit down at this countertop at night where we are right now, and she would sit there from 8 until midnight talking to her coaches about everything, and answering every question, and, like, just being... Like not having them become self-sufficient at all. She was just like constantly just talking to them all night long. And she set this expectation that she was available all night long. And she was getting away from inviting. And it used to be that she was down like from 8 to 9, she'd do that. And then from 9 to midnight or whatever, she'd do inviting. And that went down. And with it, the business, you know, slowed down a little bit actually. Like, she kept growing, but not as quickly as it was. And like, you know, just like she said, in the last month or two, she focused on really pressing down on the gas again on inviting. And it's like, not even kidding, like, a week and a half after, because there's a little bit of a lag time, right? You start talking to people and it doesn't immediately come in. You have to build that momentum. But like a little bit after that, it's like, you know, she started signing up a lot more people again. And it's so correlated, it's crazy. And it's so easy to overcomplicate it and look at all the other things that you should be doing. But the second she sat down and started spending her time talking to people, she started bringing in new people again and into the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so like, for example, when they tell you, you know, invite, you know, it really is like a numbers game. So when you hear people say like, I don't know, I think somebody's unmuted here. I think it's a girl down here. I don't know if you can mute it. Awesome, thanks. All right, now I can focus a little bit more. So it really is a numbers game, guys. So like when you hear people say like invite, and they say, oh, invite 3 to 5 new people to a challenge group every day. I mean, I was hauling. I was inviting like 30 every single day. And even to this day, I just triple up on my numbers. Like, I just spend, because what else am I going to do when I sit down at night? I'm not going to sit on the couch and waste my time watching TV. I'm just not going to do that. I have huge goals and plans for our family, and sitting down watching Walking Dead every night for 3 hours like I was doing before is not going to make that happen. So it's just really important to just know that it really just is a numbers game. The more time that you spend talking to people, the more people you're going to help. Like, it's really, really, really not complicated. And then the fifth non-negotiable was to tell somebody about the business opportunity every single day. So even to this day, I never let a day go by that I am not talking to somebody about this business opportunity, or inviting them to a coach blitz that we do, or taking advantage of the coach sneak peeks. And so even if you're a brand new coach, guys, when I was a brand new coach and I didn't have my own coach sneak peeks running, and I was using Elizabeth's, for example, she was running 2 a month. And I really didn't know how to talk about the business opportunity as a brand new coach because I couldn't really speak to it at the time. So I took advantage of those coach sneak peeks, and I would plug in like 30 plus people every single time that she ran one. And that's how I was able to grow my team so fast. So if you're a brand new coach, you know, definitely take advantage of the webinars that your upline coach is running, the sneak peeks, whatever it is that they do. Like, you're totally missing out on like growing your team by not plugging people into that. So those are my top 5 non-negotiables. And setting specific business hours too is going to be really helpful to you guys. And just know that this business is supposed to fit naturally into your day-to-day life. It's not supposed to be something that you're glancing at your phone at 24/7, because then it's going to be really overwhelming for you and you're going to get stressed out. So look at your schedule, and that's what I tell my coaches too. Just look at your schedule and really figure out, after talking to your spouse, about what works best for you and your family. Like, when can you sit down to get your power hour in? Maybe you have to do a half an hour in the morning, and that's okay. And then you're going to do another half an hour at night. And it might be different every single day, but plug it in. Don't think about the business. Don't do anything with the business until those business hours come. And then you're going to sit down and be focused, get your inviting done, do those vital behaviors. And then when the time is up, like, you're done until the next day. That's the biggest piece of advice I can get, because I have had a lot of coaches that, you get involved in it and it's so exciting and so much fun. You do want to work on it all the time, but you just can't do that. You'll drive yourself nuts, and your head will want to spin off your body. So make sure that you have the focused business hours. And spend all of your time behind the scenes. All of the successful coaches, guys, in the company, they're successful because they're doing the things that you can't see. They're spending all their time in their inbox, talking to people, private messaging people, spending a lot of time inviting, listening to what their goals are, how they can help them overcome them, getting back to emails. So it's all the stuff that you can't see. I think it's really important. So, be really careful how you spend your time, and every single time when you go to sit down to work, ask yourself, is this really going to bring me closer to where I want to be? Is this really going to be the action that moves my business forward? So you have to be intentional with your action that you take every single day. And I know, like, especially as a new coach too, you might be lacking that confidence. Really, the only way to get over that and to help boost your confidence with this is to just get out there and do it. The more that you just take action and dive in and talk to people, the more confident you get, then the more competent you become, and then the cycle repeats. And then it's like riding a bike. When you go to invite someone, you don't even think twice about it. It's like, boom, invite, no big deal, enter. And it's no big deal. And you really have to think to yourself too, and know that people are literally sitting right now, guys, at home, waiting for you to reach out to them. Like, I truly believe that, like 150% believe that people, they don't know where to go. They don't know where to go for help or what to do. And it's our job to tell them about this. And you should never keep this from people, because it should be up to them to decide whether or not they want to do this or not. It's our job as coaches to present it to them. And then it's their job to let it be up to them if they want to do this or not, whether it's for health and fitness or business, the business side of things. So just remember that you are literally doing people a disservice by keeping it to yourself and not sharing it. And so as soon as you start thinking that way, it makes the whole inviting process so much easier. When you sit there and think, like, you don't have to worry about annoying people, because you're not. You're helping people. All right.
Yeah, Brad Bizjack had that good example about that.
Oh, yeah.
He did a team call for Kathi, and I loved what he said. He said, imagine that you're a waiter in a restaurant, you've got a pot of coffee, and you're walking around the tables, and you're like, would you like some coffee? And someone says no. You're not going to be like, no one in this restaurant gets coffee. Screw everybody here. I quit. Like, I can't be as a waiter anymore. No one wants coffee. You're just asking people. And that's such a different mindset. Like, when Kathi started doing this, my impression was going to be she's going to aggravate everyone, annoy people. Like, no offense, but like the It Works people, like they're like flashing $100 bills up on the screen, and like it's always the link to their website, and a lot of stuff that we do as newer coaches too. I remember Kathi put up the big promotional banner with Autumn and everything like that when she signed up. I'm like, ugh. And the stuff that I was nervous about, but when you get more into it, you realize, like, you're just asking, and a lot of people will say no, and some people will say yes, and that's all it is. And all the people that say no are just, they're watching, and sometimes they get ready later. It's on their schedule, and you're there to help them. You're not pressuring anyone or convincing them. They might have objections that you can work through because they don't realize how they can get over it, but you're not like strangling someone to get them to do it. You're just offering it to them.
Right.
And if they have concerns, you can explain how you work through them through your own personal experience, right?
Right. And you have to think of it, guys. Just expect it. Most people say no. They do. You're going to get no's. Like, you just have to understand that is part of the business. It just comes with the territory. Most people are going to say no. A lot of people are going to ignore you. And that's where the key is, in the follow-up all the time. Like, you can't just send one invite and that's it. It takes the average person 6 or 7 times for them to see something before they decide that it's the right time for them. And so that's why it's so important to follow up. And also too, don't worry about the no's. This is the way I look at it. Like, I literally, it doesn't bother me at all when I hear no, because I actually get excited the more no's I have, because what that means is you are now planting seeds. And what this means is that now you've reached out to them, you've invited them. And so now you've planted that little idea in their head that you're a coach, and that when they are ready to get started on their health and fitness journey, they're going to know to go to you.
Because you haven't quit yet.
Because you haven't quit yet, right, guys? Because you're going the distance with this. You're going to be a lifer like us. And they're going to be watching you. So they're going to know that you're consistent. They're going to know that you're someone reliable that they can trust. They're going to be watching you on social media. And because you've actually extended that invite and have planted that seed, when the time is right for them to get started on their health and fitness journey, they will come back to you. Trust me, guys, they will. It might be 3 months. It might be 6 months. It could be over a year, like I've been having happen recently. I've had people who don't reach out to me and don't write back. And then a year later, they're like, all right, I'm ready. And I'm like, thank God I'm still coaching. And so you just need to know that you want it to be you. Like, you want people to know that you are the coach, and that if they need help, they're coming to you and not their cousin and not their neighbor and not somebody else that they know, because you've already planted that seed in their head. And all of those seeds eventually sprout when the time is right for them. So it's not about you. It's not about you trying to hit Success Club and trying to sell a challenge pack. It's about, when is the time right for them? And when it is, they will know to come back to you. And that's why it's so important too. I've always maintained these relationships with people, even when they tell me no. You have to focus on building relationships. It is not just like invite them to a challenge group and they say no and you drop them like a hot potato. You continue talking to them about other things, not even Beachbody related. You be a friend to them, you be genuine, and then you build a true relationship with them, and you talk to them as if they were sitting right here at the kitchen counter with you. What would you say? And those exact words, you just type to them. That's what I do. Because it is a relationship and it's a people building business. It is not a sales job. If you treat it like that, it will not last long for you. You'll be gone in like a couple months. All right. Another thing too that's really important that I really think too helped me, and it's going to have to happen for you too, guys, if you have big goals with this business. If you're looking to achieve anything that's different from what you've already accomplished in your life, like you have big dreams and you have big goals for your family, with that obviously comes sacrifices, right? It just does. Nothing worth, going after comes without making temporary sacrifices. So for me, like I said, I used to spend all my nights on the couch just watching, Walking Dead, Homeland, all that stuff once I put the kids to bed. And that stuff all kind of just took a back seat. I really don't watch that much TV anymore. So I cut back on my sleep a little bit, a lot actually, not a little bit, cut back on my sleep. And I'm a huge sleeper, guys. Like, I love my naps, and there's no more naps, but it's okay. I got rid of all that, cut back on TV. We have like one date night a week, or even if it's just that we stay in where I don't really work that night, I try not to work that night. But it's just all temporary sacrifices, and it's been absolutely worth it. So just look at your schedule and kind of just be honest with yourself. Like, do you really need 3 hours of TV every single night? Like, no. You can cut back, and cut back on that. And what really helped me was, if you're like dead serious about building a business, then check out the Scotty Hobbs video on YouTube called Sacrifices. If you're just in this for a hobby, then you don't need to go to this extreme. But if you are dead serious about this, like, it has to work and it's working for you, that's what really changed it for me. I watched that video probably at like 2 months in as a coach, and I was already working 2 hours a night on the business. And that's when I kind of turned things up a notch. I was like, all right, it's time to let's just go a little bit harder here. And it just made me see the bigger picture. And it just made me realize that this is going to happen, and this can totally be us in the future. So check that out. Trying to see here.
When you make those changes too, it's funny, like as Kathi was talking, I was thinking about it. Like, you have inertia in your life. When you're doing things in your life, you have a tendency to stay on the same path, especially as you've been doing them for longer and longer. Like watching TV at night. It's like you had coaches on the team who've been like, oh, I can't make a team call tonight because my favorite show is on, and it's like, man, like, you know, when I think back, like the TV shows that Kathi used to binge watch, I don't even remember anything from them. Like literally nothing. Like I don't remember the whole thing of The Sopranos, even though we probably spent 90 hours watching it, right? Like I just don't remember it. And, you know, it's like those things are hard to change in the beginning, but you develop a new habit and then it becomes the new thing. Like we used to crave watching TV at night, you know. It's just like every time we go past Dunkin' Donuts now, we have to get a coffee. It's like a habit now we formed.
Right.
Like 2 iced coffees a day.
Plus energize at night.
Right. And, you know, you just build these habits up in your life. So you just got to build them up for the things that are going to make you productive and get you to where you want to go, and not habits that just keep you the same.
Yeah. And honestly too, you know, with this business, I do have some people who come into it where, you know, they want to like learn everything before they get going. It doesn't work like that. Learning is doing in this business, you know. When I first got into this, guys, I knew nothing. I didn't even think I knew what the heck network marketing was.
She told me you made a 75% commission on everything you sold. I was like, you need like 10 customers, you can make $1 million a year.
Yeah, I was like, I think you make like 75%. And like, or something.
How does Beachbody make money?
Yeah, I was like, it's like amazing. Like, you know, and then I realized I was wrong. And I remember being like, shit, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. For a split second, I thought that, right? But I knew nothing about network marketing, guys. I didn't even know it existed. The whole me being an entrepreneur, never in a million years did I ever think that I would see myself doing this. I only had 300 friends on Facebook. I hardly ever used social media except for like the occasional like pizza post or a running post or something with my kids every now and then, or drinking, you know, that's like it. And I remember the day I signed up to become a coach, I specifically remember asking my coach that night, I'll never forget it, was like 9:30 at night. And I'm like, so now what do I do? And she's like, you know, just sit back, kind of relax, you know, probably not much will happen the first month, you know, as a coach. So just kind of take it easy. And I remember hanging up the phone being like, I don't have time to wait. You know, there is no, let's just see what happens here. And I remember that night, guys, I was inviting people to join a challenge group. And I'm not kidding, guys, when I say this, I did not know what a challenge group was. And next thing you knew, because I was inviting everybody I was friends with, I was like, I just became a Beachbody coach and I need to lose 35 pounds and get rid of this baby weight. And I'm going to be doing this 21-day. Like I acted as if like I had been doing this. I don't even know. I'm like, I'm going to be running this 21-day, you know, support and accountability group. It's going to start on this date. And do you want to do it with me? Like, I'm going to need help. And they're like, yes, yes, yes. And next thing you knew, I had 8 people who wanted to do a challenge group with me. And I was like, wait a minute, how do you even run a challenge group? And I had to set up this whole challenge group and do it all by myself because at the time, no one knew that they had all those templates in the back office that you could use and kind of tweak to make your own.
Yeah, you had no upline challenge.
I had no upline challenge groups to plug them into. So it was just me, myself, and I. And I'm like, oh my God. So guys, don't wait. Just dive in and take action. That's literally all I did was just dive in and start talking to people. I am no different than you guys. I am such a cluster F. You know, I'm just the average mom covered in like yogurt stains, walking around in oversized baggy pants all day with my hair in this bun, washing my hair once a week, you know, barely having a chance to eat or go to the bathroom. And it's just being focused at night when you sit down and really just asking yourself. I think what the biggest thing that Beachbody has done for me has got me to realize that you should never just settle for where you are in life, that you should never just settle for the mediocre or the good life. And that's what I was doing, like, you know, besides the debt. I mean, everything else was really good. And this got me to realize that you can literally create the most incredible life and future ever imaginable for your family with this opportunity if you are willing to go the distance, have that belief, be consistent, you know. And even if you're a brand new coach or you're a veteran coach, like you can make today the first day of a brand new year for you. Make today the first day of a brand new year where you choose to show up every single day and take intentional action. Don't just be here for a year and think it's going to happen. Like the business doesn't just happen to you. You have to own it and show up and make it happen. And if you can do that and you can have that kind of commitment and you can show up every single day for a year, your business could be in a completely different place 1 year from now.
And here's the thing, you'll be in a different place in a year from now. As Kathi was talking about this, I was thinking too, like, go back on YouTube and look at Kathy's first YouTube videos from like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I listen to her talk, I'm like, who the hell are you? Like this was not her 2 years ago. Like I was, like Kathi said before, you know, I was doing the entrepreneurship thing. I tried to run a couple different businesses and none of them were nearly as successful as Kathy's done with this. And I used to read personal development books. I'd be like, Kathi, I read this great thing in the book. She'd be like, I don't care about personal development. Don't talk to me about that crap. She's like, I'm watching TV, you know?
Yeah.
And now she's like, why are you watching TV? Because I'm like, I'm going to play video games a little bit. She's like, no, you're not. You're sitting on the couch. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny. Like, it's just so, like, seriously, like, people, like, Kathy's gotten good at this, but it's because she's done it every single day, right? And the same thing, like, she didn't start like this as a coach. Go back and look at her Facebook posts from a year and a half ago.
Right.
Look at her YouTube videos from a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
They're completely different.
You have to, this business is not just about health and fitness here. It is literally about personal growth and constantly learning from your mistakes and growing from them and using each of those times that you fall flat on your face as a teachable moment. And each time those things happen, you grow. Like, if you're not failing ever in this business and things aren't going wrong, then you're not growing, you know? And you have to find a way to change your mindset like that and turn that into literally just teachable and learning moments. And so, you know, it happens over time. Like Nick was saying, I used to be like, why would you want to do personal growth books? Like, we're good people. I'm like, I remember saying, we're good people. What a waste of time. But now I'm like, gosh, I can't believe people live their whole life never trying to improve. Like, that is crazy to me. And so that's my whole mindset now, is that, like, you should be facing those fears head on and wanting to become better and grow every single day and be the best version of yourself for you and for your family. And I want my kids to be like that. So now it's all about that, like them seeing me. You know, we have little eyes on us now all the time. So they're seeing what we're doing, you know, all the time, which is so important. Were you going to say something?
Nope.
No. And the last thing I want to say before I just, you know, turn it over to him, it's going to be kind of like a total shift in topic. Once I'm done, it's going to be like, all right, cycle bonuses. I like to kind of end with this analogy, guys. I like to talk about, you know, the 4x1 relay. I used to run it in high school. I used to run it in college. It was my favorite race. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, you know, you line up around the track. There's 4 people. And the first person starts and they have the baton in their hand, right? And the gun goes off and it's like, and that first person runs, right, as fast as they can, as hard as they can. They have their eyes forward. They're running their best race. They're doing what they can. And when they get to that next person, they hand the baton. And then that person goes. They run their best race. They're as fast as they can, looking forward. And the same thing all the way around until the race is over. And guys, that baton is this business opportunity. You guys have all been handed a baton by your coach. You've been handed and given this business opportunity. And it is your job to run your race, your best race, not your upline coach's race, not somebody else's in the network, not your friend that's, you know, in the network, your best race. I don't care how fast or how slow you go, but you better damn well run. And you got to keep looking forward, and you're going to hand that baton off, guys, to other people as you go. And that's going to be your team that you form. So I hope that you guys do that. I hope you guys keep running your race and keep that eye on the future, because that's the only direction you can go in this business, is by keeping your eyes forward, and you hand that off and you build your team. So anyways, now we're going to turn it over to Nick. So
I'm laughing because Kath had her leadership retreat, and you know, like, I get all jazzed up about the numbers, right? And I'm like sitting there and I'm like going over stuff like spreadsheets, and like I'm literally looking around the room, everyone's like, oh, yawning and stuff, right? But what I will say is that
we're going to keep it simple.
Yeah, I'm not
because there's newer coaches on the team
but,
too.
As a business owner, you guys have to understand how you get paid. You have to. You know, who was it? Jimmy Hayes Nelson. They had the guys retreat. I don't know if anyone went to that. I didn't go to it, but there was a men's retreat in Dallas. And Gary Vaynerchuk was there. Was also going to be the keynote speaker at Summit. And Jimmy Hayes Nelson said that he was talking to Gary Vaynerchuk behind the scenes. And one of the conversations they had was about how there's so many coaches that don't understand the business. And Gary Vaynerchuk said, so you're telling me there's people involved in this company that don't know how they get paid? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, dude, you're an entrepreneur. You have to understand, like, people come into this business for income and they don't understand how they get paid. So it's super important. So I can kind of get all over the place on this. So
okay, don't worry. I'll keep them in check, guys. So if I seem like a bitch sometimes, just, you know.
Yeah, if Kathi got you all fired up right now, I'm here to bring the tone back a little bit. Yeah. So, all right, I just feel like it's such a gear shift.
No,
okay.
Just talk about how get yourself to diamond and then build your weak leg. And
Right.
then you earn money for
So bottom line, there's a couple of ways you get paid as a coach. In the beginning, it's commissions, right? When Kathi first signed up and she was getting Success Club, like, you know, she said she got 8-10 people in the beginning, right? You're getting commissions. So in the beginning, you're making all your money from, if it's a customer you get, or even a coach, I think you get a $40 or $50, sometimes $60, depending on what you sell, challenge pack. But that's like the short-term income. Like you can build a $20,000 a year business if you hustle like crazy on challenge packs, and you'll stop there. Like you won't go past that.
Right.
You know, you might get to like $1,800, $1,900 a month selling 20 to 30 challenge packs a month. You know, and if it's all retail, because it's just people quit, right? And if you're not building a team, you get to a point where the people that you're adding aren't coming on fast enough to replace the people that are going. It's just the nature of the business. People come and go. Some people come and stay for a long time, but most people stay in for a couple months, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Sometimes you get lifers, which is awesome, and they love it and they keep going. But you know, a lot of people come and go. So if you're not building a team that's then going to grow with you, you'll stagnate eventually.
So wait, can I just chime in real quick?
Yep.
Sorry guys, I didn't throw this in here. So you might want to just take this note down really quickly. If you're looking to build, you know, a significant income, you know, and you're wanting to build your team, I always tell my coaches on the team that your goal every single month should be definitely Success Club 10, and to bring on at least 2 to 3 new active coaches every single month, and just make it your goal and just be like, this is going to happen every single month. These are my non-negotiables. Like that's what I tell myself. Like my non-negotiables are these 2 things. I don't care if it kills me. It's happening every single month, and live by that every single month. Don't let any excuses get in the way.
Is Kathi hold yourself accountable to that stuff? Like if you think about it this way, right? If you went into a job and your boss said you have to invite 3 people a day, right? And you didn't do it, you'd get fired because you weren't doing your job, right? Well, in this business, you won't get fired, but you won't build a business and nothing will happen. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to do the behaviors. Like sometimes you'll get a job where it's like your boss doesn't really pay attention to what you're doing. You can keep getting your paycheck every week, right? That it doesn't happen here. Like you have to own it. You know, like my job, I have a lot of my coworkers I know just sitting around their cubicles all day and playing like Facebook or whatever, right? And like they keep getting their paychecks every week because no one's really watching them, and there's like a culture of that there, right? It doesn't, like it won't work like that. But to be an achiever, you have to do the work, right? So anyway, back to building your team. So I'm going to assume that everyone understands what a cycle bonus is, at least. Should I make that assumption? Yes, no?
Dana's like, no.
No?
I would say probably not, because there is some newer coaches.
Okay, all right. I'll go back to the beginning
again quickly.
So there's a whole bunch of ways you make money as a coach, right? But I'm just going to, the 2 main ways are retail and cycle bonuses. And retail is your personal sales to customers and discount coaches for the first initial challenge pack. And then cycle bonuses is the volume that you're building, that your entire team is building, right? And what volume is the aggregate, basically, consumption of Beachbody products is going on in your downline that you're balanced for. So the cycle bonus is very small when you start, right? It starts out a very minimal percentage of your income. So if you guys haven't watched, there's a Michael Neiman video with like some action figures or something like that where he kind of shows how it works. So, but essentially what it is every 300 team volume points, you get 1 cycle. And 1 cycle is worth, as an Emerald coach, $14, and it goes up to $18 as a Diamond coach. So team volume is generated. You have a left leg and a right leg. I hope I don't lose people here now. So you have a left leg and a right leg. Oh my God,
I know.
Guys like yelling. So you have a left leg. Beachbody is a binary system, right? So you have a left leg and a right leg. And when you place coaches or discount coaches, they go on one of those 2 legs. And you can pick that in your graphical genealogy, right? And so let's say you have 1 person on one side and 2 on the other leg, right? And they're each getting Shakeology. And Shakeology is 90 volume, but I'm going to round to 100 to make it the math easier. Every month when their Shakeology ships, you're going to generate 200 volume on the side that has 2 people on it and 100 volume on the side that has 1. That equals 300, so you're going to create a cycle for yourself.
Okay, that's plenty.
Yeah, so what's important about that is that you need to balance your legs to make income, right? So a lot of people, if you're moving slower in this business, or you have a really strong upline coach, or you have a really strong rock star on your downline on one side, what happens is that your one leg can grow very, very quickly and the other leg can kind of lag behind it. And then what happens is you're not maximizing the income that you're taking from cycle bonuses because every coach is responsible for building their weak leg. So you need to know which leg your weak leg is.
Yeah. So if you're not sure, just check with your upline coach. This is
if you're a brand new coach, it might not be apparent right away. If you've been a coach for a while and you've been moving sort of slow, you'll probably be able to tell by logging in your online office and you'll see people signed up that you don't even recognize because they're either coming from your upline.
Can I chime in here?
Yep.
This is getting kind of heavy.
Yeah. Usually I like to do
I'm like, this is getting a little heavy. Let me just chime in here for a second, guys. So you basically don't really need to worry too much about where you place people unless you are going to be signing up your spouse.
Which you should do.
Which you should do right away. You should sign up your spouse as fast as possible. Make sure that you check with your upline coach to make sure that your spouse is placed on your weak leg. And you want to reserve, you got to think of it as like an investment property with the spouse there or significant other. And you're going to get him signed up or her signed up. And then even if you don't want to order him or her Shakeology every month, you can cancel that and just pay the $15.95 coach fee to at least reserve their spot up high in the best possible position in your downline. Because
it'll go inactive, but that's okay.
The last thing that you want to happen is to sign up. Like I have some coaches on my team, guys, who didn't listen to this advice and they found a rock star active coach and signed the rock star coach up first. And then their spouse is below the rock star coach, which totally sucks because now the spouse can't take advantage of all the volume that's being produced by that active coach because that person's above him. So you want to have the active coaches and everybody below your significant other or spouse. So that's why you should do it right away. So
I want to tell you guys, since Kathi started coaching, I mean, we're talking like we would have made like $40,000 less up to this point by not having me signed up for the same amount of work.
It's a huge waste to not have your significant other or spouse signed up. People don't understand it, but just trust the upline coaches or other leaders in the company when they say to do it. Just do it. And then also too, another time too is whenever you have an active coach, you want to make sure that they get placed too in the right spots. And so you don't really have to worry too much about where you place people. Those are the only two times is when you're going to be getting an active coach or if it's your spouse. And you don't really need to worry about it until you become a diamond coach. Once you're a solid diamond coach, like I'm talking like
solid meaning like 2 emeralds on each side.
Solid meaning like
at least 6 people, 6 discount coaches, 6 coaches on each side.
Yeah. I mean, solid meaning like if someone cancels or quits below you, you're not going to drop your rank, So I usually tell my coaches, you're a solid diamond when you have 6 people down your right leg, 6 people down your left leg, and you have like 2 emeralds on your left leg and 2 emeralds on your right leg. Then you're solid. That way, if someone quits, you're still going to be a diamond coach. So once you are solid, then that's where it's important to know that every single person that you sign up is going to go on your weak leg. Like your job is to grow your weak leg. And people don't know that. They keep flopping back and forth, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. No, your job is to grow your weak leg. That's where you're going to see your income grow. And then your cycle bonuses are going to grow over time. And your cycle bonuses is what's going to lead to the residual income over time. Like that's going to be the big money where your paychecks are going to be mostly coming from cycle bonus money. Does that make sense?
And it's a reflection on you building your team, right? Because everyone is responsible for their own weak leg. And if you're not building your weak leg, then, I mean, okay, here's an example. Kathy's dad's account, right? Someone quit and we signed up Kathy's dad through a coach transfer into the top spot in our organization on the right leg. So her dad has, I think, like 6 people on the inside leg right now and like 900 on the right or 800 on the right. And the volume on the right is like, it's crazy. And so his account right now is earning like $100 a month. But with the amount of people on the right side, it's literally worth like $80,000 or $90,000 per year. Like that's how big that account is right now, right? And it's because the one leg is so huge on it. And it's all about cycle bonuses. Like the only way that he can build that account is by building that weak leg, right? So, yeah.
So first action step for you guys is to sign up your spouse or significant other if you haven't yet. And it doesn't matter if they're not going to be, doing a workout program or whatever. Nick wasn't doing any of it either when I first signed up. He wanted really nothing to do with it. You can still like order another program that you want, just get the challenge pack.
You'll get points.
You'll get the 2 Success Club points for it. You're going to collect the commission, so it's going to be cheaper for you anyway. So if you, order, say, for example, the 21-Day Fix Extreme Challenge Pack for $140, it's not really going to cost you $140 because you're going to be collecting the $40 commission off of that. So it's really going to be like, just under 100 for you, basically, or 100. And then you'll get the 2 Success Club points. They'll have that, position, on your weak leg, all reserved, in the highest position. And like I said, if they don't want to, you'll be surprised. A lot of the spouses actually start drinking the Shakeology and they're like, oh my God, I really love this. And that was Nick. He wanted nothing to do with it. And then he started drinking it and he was hooked on it. But even if they don't, you can cancel it. Like I said, you don't have to worry about keeping the account active, at the beginning till they become an Emerald coach, but you can just get rid of all that stuff and just keep the monthly coach fee so that they have that position at least there.
I mean, the best thing I can say about this is that understanding, it took me 3 full months to understand cycle bonuses and how they work in detail. But for me as a spouse, and when Kathi signed up, right, the thing that got me a little bit skeptical at MLM is all the rah, rah, rah before. I mean, I like the rah, 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 and it's important, but to me, it's like, I felt like, what are they hiding with all this, like, balloons and fireworks and diamond and ruby and all these like ridiculous like gem rank names, like, like I wouldn't go to my job and be like, what do you do? Are you a manager? No, I'm a diamond. It's like, no, it's like whatever, But so, I'm like, ugh. But then Kathi got the diamond rank, right? She got put into the Bearcat page, and I like logged into her Facebook account and like went into Bearcat and looked at the files and looked at the stuff that Keith Callahan was sharing about his volume and how it grew. And I spent my time researching how you actually make money in this business, right? That's what I wanted to know. I didn't want to hear like all the rah, rah, rah stuff. I wanted to know, how do you earn an income? And it took me a long time to learn it, but I'm at the point now where I feel like I really understand it. And it is confusing. So that's why I tend to get tripped up a lot when I talk about this, because I don't know where to start, because there's so much information. And especially to keep it simple, I mean, I could spend an hour just talking about the basics of it. But the best thing I can suggest is that you try to like really own understanding the compensation plan over time. And like Kathi said, the beginning of it is understanding, you have to understand how a cycle works. And there's videos on YouTube. I mean,
right. Well, Dana just posted the video in the chat there for you guys to check out about the cycle. So make sure you check that out. And like, it all goes back to, what I said earlier in the call about, owning your business, I mean, instead of, always asking your upline coach, going onto YouTube, YouTube was my best friend, guys. When I first became a coach, I YouTubed everything and watched so many videos, from the other leaders in the company on all these different concepts that we were trying to figure out. And that's what he did too. That's how he learned about it and, got so involved, and it was by watching that. And if there's any reason, to become, why it's important to become a diamond coach, especially, is so that you can get into those leader pages, because that is where it all changes. Like, you don't see the information and the statistics and the facts, that you're going to see in Bearcat, the leaders page. It's not going to be in your regular team page.
Because it's too overwhelming.
Because it's just too overwhelming and too in-depth, and there's a lot of new coaches in your team page and things like that. You need to get yourself into those leaders pages so that you can really see the true potential with this business and know that it's like, this is legit. Like, I can do this. This is crazy what this can do for you.
Yeah, going in there is what made me realize it's a legitimate business that you can build with intent, right? And like I told Kathi before, my first impression of Beachbody was it was going to be like I said, going to the casino and throwing your money on the table.
Right.
And it's not. It's like any other business. It's like starting a blog or starting a regular business. Or I've started 4 businesses, right? And, I think I was never successful with them because I had my feet in all of them at once, plus my full-time job. And Kathy's like gotten focused on this one thing, right? But
yeah, I'll even be like, he'll be sitting down to do something, and I'm like, what are you doing right now? I thought you were supposed to be setting up this group. Like, and he's like, oh, whoops, I got distracted. So I'm very like, this is what needs to be done. Like, I'm not all over the place. And so it is important. If you're like that, just make a checklist, like a daily checklist, of like 4 or 5 things that absolutely have to be done. And then, I like to like check them off. I like to visibly see the check go next to it. It makes me feel like, okay, I accomplished something.
So, this whole like understanding the business is kind of like the opposite of like the Kathi speech before this, like, you can do this, and because you can do this, right? And you do need that confidence, all belief, and all that stuff, but you also need to be an entrepreneur and understand how this business works, right? I mean, you do. There's people in the 5-star diamond page that Kathy's in, and Dana's in, And there are people in there that don't understand how cycle bonuses work, and it blows my mind. I mean, these are like seasoned coaches that don't really understand how they get paid. And I find that like fascinating. Like,
well, they don't all have a Nick.
But like you don't, yeah, I mean, you can get into a deep level of detail, but you need to know how a cycle works. That's step one. Step one is YouTube, how a cycle works. Dana posted the video, you said, right? So watch that, make sure you understand that, right? And then secondly, make sure you know how to get to diamond, right? And how to build a strong diamond.
Yeah.
And from there, you're going to focus on, if you get to a strong diamond, you'll also be fulfilling the next step of the leadership ladder at the same time.
Yeah. And I also want to tell you one thing too, guys. Don't put diamond on such a high pedestal. Like, it's like, this is it. This is the be all and end all. I'm going to become a diamond and the world is going to change. Everything's going to drastically change. My paycheck's going to come in. It's going to be like 5 times the amount and everything's going to be all good. I can quit my full-time job, bring home my husband. Guys, diamond coach, I don't candy coat things. I say the same thing to my team. Diamond coach is the bare bones minimum of where you want to go and where you need to be in order to start to take this to a new level. Like, if you have what it takes to become a diamond coach and you can get yourself there, then that means that you have what it takes to build a really successful, incredible business. So you always want to be looking above and beyond, way past that. You want to be looking 2-star diamond. Before you're even diamond, you want to be thinking, that's great, 2-star diamond is where I need to be though. Always be thinking ahead. Don't be thinking, all right, that's it. And then you stop working, That, like I said, that's the bare bones minimum of where you need to be in order to start to see things get serious in the business.
Yeah, and Kathi just said it, but we say this all the time. If you can get the diamond, you can do the rest of this business. Just people get in their own heads about it after that point, and then they get in their heads about it. And you just got to get back to phase 1 and do it. And then, you learn over time. Like I said, it took me 3 months I'm not kidding. Like, Kathi would work at night and I'd be on the computer watching videos of YouTube. I read the entire compensation plan, guys, the entire thing from front to back.
Yeah. What were you going to say,
That's
Dana?
how nerdy I am.
Yeah.
Before you guys go on, since you're talking about diamond really quick, I think it's really important what you mentioned about how diamond really is just the place of putting yourself in the place of highest potential. But in terms of income, can you explain why diamond is important, way more important than sitting at emerald rank, and how you cap out at $250 a week?
Yeah. Do you want to go into specific details about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? There was a national wake-up call from Christina Delgado, and she said it good. She said a diamond coach who's earning $1,000 a week is a lot more satisfied than a diamond coach who's earning $80 a week or whatever, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's cycle bonus caps, and the cycle bonus, like as an emerald coach, you can't cycle more than $250 per week, which is, I mean, what's the math on that? I'm doing horrible right now.
What?
What is that, 10 grand a year, maybe? Something like that?
Oh, I'm like a month. I'm like, you can't figure that out.
12 grand. Yeah. I don't know why. It's late.
It's late.
So like, it's like 10 grand a year, And so to cap on that, I have a spreadsheet. I can share this with Dana, but I have a spreadsheet where you can literally pump in what your desired income is and what your rank is. And they'll tell you exactly how many Shakeology home direct orders you need in your week leg to get that income.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dana, for doing the math.
Yeah, it's like,
So I mean, you can make income as an emerald coach, but I mean, again, to get past that, I mean, with diamond, you get a couple of great benefits. You get a higher cycle bonus. It's an immediate like 20% bump from $14 to $18. You get matching bonuses, which starts out super small. You get 10% of all your personally sponsored coaches' cycle bonuses. So if your coach makes $28, you get $2.80 as a diamond coach. So in the beginning, it's tiny, but right now, Kathi makes like $150 a week just from that. I mean, it gets significant. I mean, that's not small money. I mean, that's the free bag of Shakeology, more than that. And the other thing is, like with diamond, you get to the leaders pages, and then you can also start to grow your business. Like if someone below you gets a diamond, then you can become a star diamond coach. You can't do that as an emerald. And when you get to, and then it goes beyond that. So, but yeah, I mean, diamond's important, but you get to diamond by, you have to get those emeralds, but then you really got to focus on that weak leg. Cycle income comes from building your weak leg. There are so many diamonds that sit out there, and they have 6 people on their left leg, 4, discount coaches and 1 emerald, and they don't go past that. And that's 6 people. You're generating 700 team volume a month on your weak leg. That's 7 cycles tops. You're talking at $18 a cycle as a diamond coach. You're making $140 a month as a diamond coach. You can be a diamond coach and make less than $200 a month in cycles. So you don't want that. You want to make more.
No, you don't want that. You want to be team leader.
Right.
You're so dang smart, Nick. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know,
He's
he's
the Beachbody guru.
he does. Like, he
If
knows.
you guys have specific questions
Yeah.
for me, like about your
Yeah,
specific
does anybody want to ask questions?
Yeah.
you can either ask
Why
me,
don't we
or
ask
if you don't want to
questions?
ask too, you can send me a message too, and I'm happy to like give you any specific, because everybody's situation is different, and the further you get along in this business, the more complicated it gets. It's almost like chess sometimes, because you don't really know what people are going to do or how they're going to perform. You know, so you kind of take educated guesses about what to do. I mean, now it's like at this point in Kathy's business, she's got her account, her second business center, my account, I've got a second business center. And then your dad's, Kathy's running essentially 5 accounts right now at this point. So every person that gets signed up is placed with it's very intentional, right? Like all coaches and discount coaches go in certain spots depending on what they say they want to do. They don't always do what they say they want to do. But
I just want to make sure that everybody knows that when you get to 2-star diamond, you get to open a second business center.
Yeah.
Which then that's how I placed my second business center on my weak leg. So I was then able to continue to grow volume. So
right, it's the same concept as a spouse account. You open a second business center.
She just cut her off.
Oh, sorry, I thought she was done. Sorry, Dan.
I'm like, you just cut her off.
I do that sometimes. I get chatty. Yeah, a second business center it's like the same concept as a spouse account. It's another place where you can build volume on both legs. Like the spouse account, when you're placing people.
Well, you don't go. No, no. This is enough.
Don't go into crazy detail, but I do want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity. If you want to ask Kathi any questions about anything she talked about, or if you want to ask Nick anything in regards to income, now is your time.
Yeah, sorry the call is a little bit longer. It's kind of like two big topics.
So I have a question. So I feel like you were literally talking about me, Nick, because I was the one writing and Beyond Diamond, because I got to 1-star diamond really quickly, and I feel like I get the basics and all of that kind of stuff, but I feel like I was a math person, so I don't know why I have such a hard time with it. But if you ever do run a call where you get do the nitty gritty and the specifics, I would love to be invited to it, because I feel.
Yeah, if you look at Kathy's YouTube page and you Google Team Slice Volume, I've made 2 or 3 videos out there that where I actually open up a spreadsheet and draw it all out and stuff, and they're 20 minutes or 25 minutes long.
Yeah,
and they go into a lot more detail, and I actually draw things out, so I'm not just. Sometimes it's hard to explain. You need a whiteboard or something.
Yeah, I feel like drawing is helpful with this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I know for me, when I hear this stuff, my eyes glaze right over. It's like being back in history class in high school. That's why I did so bad. It was like, whoa.
See, and I get all excited about it. I'm like, yeah, numbers.
I'm like, just talk to people.
Well, I know, and my husband wants to see numbers, and he tries to get me to explain it to him, and I just feel really slow. I don't.
Yeah, just, you know what? The best thing you can do is just sit down and invite a mother. Right. And then you'll be bringing in the paychecks, and your husband will be like, whoa, and then he'll want to research.
Nothing will shut someone up faster than showing them
the money. Yeah.
Yeah, with the guys, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's what happened. Kathi started off cranking in Success Club 20, 30 in the beginning, because she was inviting like crazy, right? And I was like, oh, okay. Because our original goal, Kathy's goal in this business initially, was to make $200 a week. That was the goal, right? Because she was tutoring and she wanted to stop tutoring, and we wanted to keep her home. And it was we weren't going to pay off our credit card debt with that income, but it was enough to keep us afloat so Kathi didn't have to go back to work. That was the goal. It was okay, we'll live with the debt. We'll live with not being able to do anything, but the goal is to keep Kathi home with the kids, right? And so $200 a week was the goal, and she was hitting that the second month. And yeah, and then from there it was I was like, okay. And then that's when Kathi got into the diamond page. I started researching the income, and I saw Kathi starting to bring in a few active coaches, and I saw the volume starting to grow. And that's when I started really researching how does this all work? And that's when I started to be okay, maybe this could turn into something. And Kathi kept telling me it's going to. And then 6 months in, I was still kind of is it really? And then it kept growing, and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, not for nothing, guys, but when people tell me no, I'm a very control freak person, in case you can't tell. When people tell me I can't do something, or they make fun of something I'm doing, I'm like, oh, you just sit back and watch, baby, because this is gonna blow your mind.
Blow my mind.
Sorry, guys, we could talk all night long. Plus, the Energize is starting to kick in. Anybody else have any other questions?
I have a question if no one's going to ask one, but I think, as always, Kathi, and oh my God, I don't know your name.
Nick.
Nick. Oh, continue with that. Kathi and Nick, you guys are awesome.
Oh, thanks.
You guys just, I think the team has been kind of struggling with how to stay not necessarily on track, but more like organized with all of your invites and being able to I know you said, you've done 30 invites or whatever. Do you have a system that works for you, or how do you?
It's the biggest cluster F you've seen in your life. I don't know how she does it.
Guys,
it's a mess. She has notebooks like this all over the house. I don't know how she does it. She'll randomly pick up a notebook and be like, I guess I'll follow up with the people in this notebook today. I'm like, okay.
No, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I mean,
that sounds exactly like I had to intercept because that is exactly what me and my husband sound like. He's like, what are your notebooks about? Put them in a cup. And I'm like,
it's ridiculous. In my mind, especially because being a teacher, I was really organized with my plan book and I had the tabs and everything highlighted and all that stuff. And in my mind, I wish I was more organized, and I wish I could get into using the Excel spreadsheets and all that stuff that he likes to, and some other people do with the Teamsy and all that stuff. But honestly, I'm so old school. I literally have my 5-subject notebook, and I just label each section, and I have challenge groups in one. So I write June 20th, this is my challenge group starting, and I write everybody's name. Then I have a next section down with my invites, and I write the date with everybody's name who I invited that day, and I write FU next to them if I followed up with them. I have this whole system, FU for follow up, N for no, not right now. It's such a disaster. I cross off people, then I have an active coaches, potential active coaches list that I work off of for active coaches. So I just keep working off of these lists all the time and keep adding to them. I just like to see it. That's just how I am.
Guys, I guarantee
so
you,
unorganized.
Kathi and I talk about this now. I'm I guarantee you so many people have probably slipped through the cracks with this system.
Probably.
But you know what? It works because her volume is so high, because she's talking to so many people all the time. And, I've seen, even on your own team, there's a lot of coaches that they'll spend all their time organizing, and then they never end up doing it.
Right.
You're better off talking to 50 people and forgetting 10 that you talk to than talking to 10 and spending 40 minutes putting them into a spreadsheet, right? I mean, it's true. It's for me, it drives me nuts too, because I'm like, how do you live like this? I get anxious seeing it, papers everywhere. But it works for her. You just got to find out what works for you. I mean, if organization's not your thing, you clearly don't need it to be successful.
Clearly, guys, do not need to be organized. I mean, I am living proof. Oh boy.
Kathi, I don't know if you saw in the comments, Kelly asked, she saw the post about that you cap out, you can only make, if you were maxing out on cycles at Emerald rank, 13,000 a year, but is there a cap for Diamond, she asked. And then she said, when you got into the when did you get into the 6-figure range? Because she was wondering if that only came with you being a 10-star Diamond, which.
So guys, don't kill yourself on rank too much. You want to get to 2-star, because 2-star gets you a second business center, also starts getting you bonuses, and you can get Diamond coach is it 2,000 a week?
Yeah, it's 2,000 a week.
So you can make 6 figures as a Diamond coach. You can get 2,000 a week in cycle bonuses. That's $104,000 a year, just on cycles. That's not going to include your matching bonuses or commissions or anything like that stuff.
And I was already earning 6 figures before I became a 10-star Diamond coach.
Yeah.
So
our Diamond doesn't necessarily mean how much your income is. I mean, it's probably generally correlated, but it's not entirely. I mean, Keith Callahan makes whatever, $600,000 a year, and what's he, 7-star or something, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and I've lost rank a bunch of times too, guys. I dropped down. I went from 10 to 4-star to 7-star to 6-star to 5. I mean, it's been all over the place, but my income is still, growing. And I'm still building, my team and bringing in new active coaches. And just always remember that, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You get a couple active coaches and focus all on them. Always remember to spend 20% of your time on your team and helping them get started right. And then 80% on yourself, bringing in new active coaches all the time.
Even if you're moving crazy fast, as a Diamond coach, it would take you, if you're moving insanely fast, a year and a half to 2 years to cap out as a Diamond coach. So I wouldn't stress, by that point, if you're building that kind of volume on your weak leg anyway, you're going to get past Diamond. It's not going to be a problem. Where it becomes for example, if Keith Callahan is 7-star, so 10 stars where you max out, 10 stars, $12,000 per week is what you can make as a cycle. That's the most you can ever make under one business center. You can do it again. I have this little knife from the kids I'm playing with. I don't know why. I'm fidgeting with it. So Keith is like 7-star. So if he got to, I think 7 or 8, I don't know what he is now. He was 7.
Yeah.
But anyway, theoretically, let's say you're 7,000 or 7-star. So you're making it that 9,000 per week, I think. So if he got to 10, his income would immediately jump $3,000 per week just from that, right? Because he's already, like, he's got so much volume that he can't take advantage of because his team is so large now because it's been so long. I mean, his volume, like he could, if you could cycle out for all your volume, he'd make like $50,000 a week. They cap it for that specific reason because Beachbody would never be profitable as a company.
Right.
So they have to cap it at $600,000 a year, guys. It's a bummer.
I do see a question here. Where do you find all your contacts to get new people for your team? So at the beginning, I basically took anybody that had a pulse. I wanted to join my team. Anybody who said they wanted to do it, I'd take them on. Now I'm definitely very selective because I spend so much time trying to help people get started right. And I want people who are serious. Like, I don't want people who are going to give me lip service. Like, I want people who are going to talk the talk and walk the walk. So now what I do is I have a list of people that I think would make good active coaches. And so a lot of them some of them might be people that I knew from the past. Some of them might be coming from my challenge groups. So if I see a lot of people who are, really engaged in the challenge group, or if I see people who are seeing really awesome success, I will simply just send them a message and say, hey, listen, like, you're doing awesome with this. I love your results. You would make a great coach on the team. Have you ever thought about becoming part of the team? And I simply just ask them. And a lot of them are like, yeah, like, tell me more about it. So I just simply tell them that. Other than that, I am still growing my network all the time. So I still, even from day one, like, I will still send like at least 3 to 5 friend requests to new people every single day. And I will specifically friend request people who look like I'd want to be friends with them. Like, I go by their profile picture, and if they're a mom, a lot of them, most of them are all moms or teachers. And I will specifically add them as a friend and then start building a relationship with them. I'll just start, liking their pictures, commenting on their pictures. I'll start to talk to them behind the scenes about something that they posted. And then I just come right out and say, hey, listen, like, I've been watching your posts a lot. Like, you seem so happy and upbeat and outgoing. You'd make a great coach on our team. Have you ever considered hearing more about what I do? And that's literally all I do. I send that same message to people who I think would be good coaches all the time, every single day. I don't ever let a day go by. So people who have been like drinking Shakeology for a long time from you, like, go back and ask them and tell them that same thing. You'll be surprised. I've gotten a lot of really good active coaches from past challenges. So that's all I do. Same thing with Instagram too. I just started using that a lot. So I do the same thing there.
Don't prejudge people. Like, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's so many people, like Kathi was like, I'm going to ask this person. I was like, they're never going to, and they're like, they do it. I'm like, oh. You'd be really surprised sometimes when you think what someone would do, and you would be totally wrong.
It goes all the way back to what I was saying earlier about, basically talk to anyone and everyone, and don't keep this from people. Don't be the person, like, you shouldn't be the one making the decision for them, whether or not this is for them or not. It's them. It's up to them. Your job is to present it to every single person.
Kathi and I did P90X in 2009, and we signed onto the forums at Beachbody just so we could talk to people about going through the program. And Kathi, when you do that, right, you get a free coach assigned to you. So Kathi had someone email her and ask her if she wanted to try Shakeology. And Kathi ordered a bag of Greenberry Shakeology in 2009. And I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what is this? First of all, we had no money then. So I was like, why are you spending $110 on this bag of shakes, right? Then she got it and she's like, this stuff tastes horrible. And she threw the bag in the garbage. I was like, that was the biggest waste of money we ever spent our money on, right? But now I'm like, I wish that person had asked you about coaching in 2009.
I actually reached out to her and I was like, hey, do you remember me from like 2009? I'm like, I decided to get into Beachbody coaching and my team's doing awesome. I wanted to be like, you totally screwed up.
Yeah, because it wasn't presented and we didn't even know. I vaguely
I probably wouldn't have. Yeah, but honestly,
the time wasn't right.
I really do believe everything happens for a reason at the right time. Like, if this had been presented to me then in 2009 when I didn't have kids and I was teaching, I probably would have been like, why am I going to do this coaching thing? Like, I just went to school and passed all those teacher tests and went to college to get a teaching career. I'm not going to do this coaching thing on the side now. Like, why would I do that? I love my job. But because I was desperate And my goal was to be home with the kids. It was different. Anyways, I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Anything else before we go?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I signed up my husband on the strong leg and not the weak leg. What can I do to fix that?
You really don't have too many options. Is your strong leg like super strong?
I haven't even looked. I think it might be at like 500 PV.
Okay, all right. I mean, there's two things. I mean, you can focus on building that weak leg. Just kill it until your weak leg becomes a strong leg, because that'll happen too. If you're building a balanced organization, like if you can definitely, like Kathy's legs have cycled back and forth a couple different times. Now she has a definite strong leg because there's some people that have taken off on one side. But if you're a very strong coach and you're really driving the growth in your organization, then you'll see like your legs can actually switch, and then your strong leg will become your weak leg. So if that happens, then you're okay. The problem is that you're not going to want to place people on that spouse's inside leg at a certain point, because you're going to want all of you putting people on the other side to build the cycle volume. So it becomes like basically a missed opportunity. So there's a couple things you can do. You can do the Beachbody rules, which is cancel the account, wait 6 months to sign them up again. And you can do a CBC transfer. So if someone cancels their account, you can have them sign a form. There's a form in the Coach Online office in the documents, and you can actually switch that person into that position. They both have to sign the form. So that's one option. I mean, it's not the end of the world if that happens. It's just, it's a good practice to do. There are people in Kathy's team that have done the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. You get the 2-star and you can put a second CBC down there too, and it's the same concept. So.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually a video from Lindsay Matway about this where she actually suggests doing that if you're a certain kind of business builder. But
yeah.
I
don't know. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a video because I went back and forth about it, and I watched a video about why it was like there are some perks to the spouse on the strong leg. So I know it's out there. I know it's definitely a top coach. I don't remember who it was either. Maybe
Yeah, I mean, if you have a very strong leg, and maybe whoever your upline coaches can check into it for you or help you figure that out, I would consider canceling the account, waiting 6 months, and signing up on the other side, especially while you're still early on. Are you still a new coach? Yeah, I would consider it. No?
Nick, I'm her coach, and she's on my strong leg, which is Dana's weak leg, but I don't put anything on that leg anymore. I only build my weak leg. So I don't know if that makes it a weaker strong leg for her, if that helps at all. I don't know.
Do you have like other strong coaches on that side?
No, well, there is one other strong coach on that side. Yeah. So
So it's your weak
it's
leg.
my strong leg, and I have like 2 of my 3 working coaches, excluding my husband who's on my weak leg, but on my strong leg.
Okay.
So like my 2 coaches that are on this call are both on my strong leg.
All right, Laura, are you a Star Diamond coach yet?
Oh yeah, but I'm a lifetime Star Diamond, but I'm not a Star Diamond right now.
Okay. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting, right? Because what will happen is if you have a strong coach in your downline, you'll stop seeing people placed from your upline there because they're not going to build there anymore. They're going to go to places where they need volume, right? So, but when you get to 2-star diamond, you need to have one diamond coach on each leg.
Right.
And when you get to 5-star, you need 2 on 1 on 3 on the other. So that's when you're going to see another coach placed under there. So that weak leg will probably still continue to grow.
Okay.
Or Michelle, your strong leg will probably still continue to grow, but it might be a little bit slower.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So it'd probably still be better for her to cancel and.
I'd have to look at the exact situation. I mean, typically I would say yes, especially over time. Sometimes that stuff's not apparent in the beginning, right? It's the compound effect. It kind of goes like this, but then once it takes off, it's like you're going to see that leg go, and then you're not going to want to place anyone under that spouse account anymore because it's volume that you can't cycle on.
I think I would cancel it and wait 6 months.
And this is so specific, but her husband just has a work ID number or whatever, and he's in the process of getting his Social Security. Will that change anything that she can re-sign him up with his Social Security instead of his ID number?
No. I don't know if I can,
Or it's all assigned to him, so it might
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of those things you probably have to ask compliance about.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I'll ask them. Thank you.
Yeah. Especially as once you become you really have to follow the rule. Like the business, like there's a lot of people that will try to skirt around some of the rules and stuff. Like you don't want to make that mistake. Like you want to do the right thing. I mean, sometimes it sucks, you know, because there's something you could do to like make some situation happen, but you know, you can't play the game that way. You know, you got to be ethical and honest about it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have any last questions?
Did I bore you guys?
No, you guys were awesome.
I know Kathi was awesome. Did I bore you?
No, you're awesome too. You come as a pair.
I know. We definitely
like pick your brains, both of them, for hours.
we definitely do come as a pair, a big ball of energy. You guys can do it. I want to see you guys blow up your teams, and I want to see you guys going into the summer with some momentum, taking ownership over your businesses. Today is day one of a brand new year for you guys, showing up every single day, being committed, no more wishing and wanting, taking the ownership and going out there and being intentional with your daily action and knowing what your vision is for the future for your family beyond just Success Club and rank and making it happen.
Who's going to Summit?
Who's going to Summit before we let you guys go? Awesome. That's great. It's not too late, guys. Put your name on the wait list. They take everybody off. And trust me, when you guys are watching it all happen, you're going to wish that you were there. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for having us so much. You guys are an awesome team.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. I know this was so helpful to everybody, and I hope all of you take more than a few things away from this and implement them and use them to absolutely propel your business forward, because you just got the best of the best from literally the best of the best. So thank you, Kathi and Nick. You guys are always so awesome. We really appreciate your time, and I hope your energized is still.
Oh, it is. Trust me.
We'll
All
see
right.
you guys next week. Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye, guys.